and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing some study content, finally! And if you didn't read the title, then you wouldn't know, but this is going to be a how I take my notes video. I know a lot of people are starting, I think spring semester it's called, while others like me are finishing their midterms. For those of you who don't know, I am a second year at the University of Toronto studying industrial relations and human resources as well as French language learning, so that's a double major. I am changing my French major to a minor, and I'm going to be picking up another minor just because I'm not a big fan of French, which may shock some of you, which may come as a total non-surprise for others of you. So for this video, I will be using about 5 things, I guess. I do take my notes in 2 ways. I either take them on paper or digitally. I do use both. It depends on my mood and it depends on the course itself. So for example, my French notes, the French language itself, I take notes solely on paper. Whereas for my industrial relations course, I only take them digitally. So the things I'll be using today are paper. Woohoo! This is A4 paper that I'm using, and yeah. The next thing I use is a black pen or a navy pen. The next thing I use is the Zebra Mild Liner highlighter. Here we go. Again, this is not something that you need to take. None of these things are things that you need to take notes. Well, like, you should have a black pen. You should have a black pen and a highlighter. That's really all you need. You can use a ruler as well if needed, if you want to make your lines straight and all of that stuff, but that should be an afterthought after taking your notes. So my whole philosophy is take the notes first and then make them look pretty. For me, I rewrite my notes 2 to 3 times. The first time is in lecture. This is just trying to jot down as much information as I can if slides are not provided to me. Because if slides are provided to me, I just I write on the slides what I want to add. The second time I write it is my aesthetically pleasing first version of notes. So this is, I take what I've done in class and make it so I actually want to look at it. So it's aesthetically pleasing in the fact where it all looks nice and it's all coordinated, but it's not necessarily my final version, as there's probably more I want to change and condense. My last version is what I'll use to study for midterms or exams. This version is the final version. I won't make any revisions after that. It's me writing the notes in my own words, not necessarily in the prof's words or in the slide words. And yeah, and those ones are probably the most aesthetically pleasing of all of them. So later on my iPad, you'll probably see it'll say lecture notes, and then it'll say lecture notes good copy, and then you'll see like lectures. Like, that's just how it works. Anyways guys, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Alright guys, now I'm gonna show you guys how I do my initial notes while lecturing is happening. So my lecture notes look a little something like this, where it's just monocolored with a bit of highlighter separating sections and nothing really special. These are not the aesthetically pleasing version. This is just trying to get as much information as I possibly can down in how fast my professors are talking. I've been using the Muji A4 size paper. It's very big. Personally, I don't like this size paper. Just for reference, this is an iPad Pro 11-inch, and I'll just place it on top. So it's a bit wider on the edges here. It's also a bit bigger. You can see that it's taller as well. I personally am not a fan. I prefer the B5 size, which is this size right here. So as you can see, it's significantly smaller, and yeah. But because I don't want to waste paper, and I do have a lot of this, I've just been trying to use it up. So the first thing I do before lecture is I fold this in half like so. I try to align the edge of the circles to the edge of the page when folding, just so it's approximately half. Now you just have to crease in the middle, and that helps differentiate one side from another's. Okay, after doing that, I take my notes like this, so I have it folded in half just because it's easier. And I will take my highlight. Starting off, I write the course code, just because I do keep all my notes together in one binder, so I keep them. So I write the course code first, and then following that, I write L, which stands for lecture, the number lecture it is, and then I write the title. I write it in all caps like so, and each letter is about 1 square as well as 2 squares high. I then grab my pen and start off on the actual notes. I start off by writing the section header and boxing it. This is a terrible box, but in lecture you don't really care, you're just trying to get it done as quickly as possible. I then move one box over and do a dot like this. This is a main point. I then use a dash for a subpoint. I use this arrow for any additional information, and I barely have to use this, but if for some reason I do need it, I use this arrow for extra. And that part's pretty universal through all the notes that I take. So next, if I have a keyword, this is what I'll do. So I'll write the keyword down and then underline it like you see me doing here. Another way of doing it is I'll use a different color. I don't have one really available here, but here we are. And here you can see I'll write the keyword in the different color and then follow it with a definition. And that's about the most I'll do for in lecture. I will go in after lecture and with a highlighter and highlight all the keywords or important information like you see me doing here. Okay, so now moving on to my digital notes. So here's my iPad screen, and the app I use for this is GoodNotes 5. Just so you guys can have some sort of references, here's some notes that I've taken this past semester for one of my industrial relations courses. As you can see, I've used different colors. I used dark paper, so I've used different colors instead. This year, or this semester specifically, I've decided to go with a rainbow theme. That's why you saw orange, then yellow. Now going back, here's a bit of my organization, just so you can see, and here are some final good copy notes that I've taken for a past class. So as you can see, these ones are a lot more organized, they look nicer, they're more pretty, I guess, and I've spent a lot more time on them. So this is what I'd consider a final version of notes versus that last one, which is just my aesthetically pleasing first version. Here are some notes for my other class that I take. This is the other format that I'll use. This is the box format, where the other one I used a Cornell format. Alright, with that being said, let's jump right into it. So I'm just creating a new notebook here. I'm just going to go with this cover because why not? I'm using dark paper right now, but I may change that because highlighter does not show up as nicely on dark paper as it does on white paper. Alright, so to start off, I'll use the widest size brush that I have, which in this case it's 2.0, and I'll just choose one of the colors. I've chosen teal for some reason for this one. I'll zoom in, as you can see, very close, and I'll just write the title of whatever, the PowerPoint, the lecture, you get what I mean. So as you can see, I use the same method that I talked about earlier, where each letter gets one box, but it's 2 blocks high. Alright, now that I've misspelled title and now have to go back and fix it, I will then use the selection or lasso tool to just circle it and move that to the middle. Now that that's done, I will now move on to using the highlighter tool. I'm changing the colors to the colors I want in the medium size, and just drawing 2 lines across the top there on each side. You can't really see it, so like I guessed earlier, I am going to switch it to white paper just so it's easier to see. See, isn't that much better? And if for some reason you want to make your title look a little bit nicer, add some cursive over top of the large pen with a smaller nib, and it just looks nice as well. Alright, so the next thing I do is I draw a line down the side there. That's about 7 blocks over. I then will write the subheader in the darkest color, or I guess the header in this case, as you can see. And then the same points as earlier apply, so main point, etc., etc. And here's just so you can see the alignment of how I align everything. Alright, subheaders are done in the lighter color and one over just so it's there. I write the keywords in a different color and then beside the definition, just like my other ones, and I also might put that on the side. I'll either write darker or in the lighter color any additional information or important extra bits that are related to one certain part of the word or of the sentence. Instead, I'll also use brackets and stuff just so it's easier to see and easier to point out. Okay, since the title saved the statement, I just copy and paste it, and now we're moving on to the box method. So for the box method, I use the type tool to type in the title or the header or whatever you want to call it, and then I write the information underneath or to the side depending, and then I'll just put a box around it. And here's just a quick look of what the completed version looks like. As you can see, I have important information in different colors as well. The headers are all in the type or the text, I guess you should say, and everything is boxed into different sections. Alright, and here's just an example of the other method you saw, which is the Cornell with the one line. And then you can see I have the same idea. Stuff is highlighted, stuff is written in different colors. Mind you, my method at that time when I was taking these notes were a tad bit different, where the black is all slides and then the yellow is all external notes that I had taken from class. So I mentioned earlier how if a prof provides slides, I'll just take notes on the slide, and here's just a quick example of that so you guys can see. As you can see here, I've added a lot of information in red. So all you see that's in red there is stuff that I've just added onto the slides while the professor was talking. I'll then later convert them into the other style notes that you guys have seen. So a GoodNotes trick is to copy and paste by opening up GoodNotes side by side on your iPad and then just dragging a screenshot over. I did this a lot during past lectures and stuff that you guys probably have seen, or in previous, in my examples shown there, you probably saw a picture or two. All you have to do is drag and drop, and I don't know how to express how important that is. And the reason I say this is because you're wasting time drawing everything. That's so much time wasted. Instead of drawing everything, I mean, you can draw everything, but I think it's better to understand the diagram rather than focus on anything else. Anyways, guys, I'll see you in my outro. Before I get started on my outro, here's just a quick view of notes that I take in past years. As you can see, I printed off photos instead of drawing them out, and these are just examples of some paper notes that I took. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you guys found it helpful. I tried my best to explain how I do things. I know it's kind of monotone and long, but I hope you guys found it somewhat useful. Like I said, notes don't have to take as long as to make your notes aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't take as long as you think that you do. It's actually very simple as long as you know a few tricks. Anyways guys, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm almost at 50 subscribers, I think, which is crazy. That's it for this week. I will see you guys next week. Bye!